In this video, we're looking at two laptops that are great bang for buck options. However, one has the RTX 5090, that's the HP Omen Max 16, and one has the RTX 5080. In this video, I'm going to show you why I put these two laptops head to head and help you decide which one is right for you by looking at the features, build quality, usability, and the performance of each of these devices. Let's dive right in. Now, first and foremost, these are both 16-inch panels. However, we have a glossy display on the HP Omen Max and a matte display on the Alienware 16. And while we're looking at these two displays, let's just dive into the technicalities. You have 544 nits of screen brightness on the Alienware 16 Area 51 with 100% sRGB, 92% Adobe RGB, 97% DCI-P3, and a Del-TE of 1.18. Now looking at the HP Omen Max, we have 388 nits of screen brightness, 100% sRGB, 97% Adobe RGB, and 99% DCI-P3 with a Del-TE of 0.74. So if you're looking for color accuracy and color gamut range, you're gonna get more out of the HP Omen Max. And they both have 240 Hz refresh rate, so great for gaming and really smooth scrolling, really smooth video editing on both of these devices. Now, before I get too carried away on the interior of the laptops, let's head back out to the exterior and check some things out. Now, first and foremost, if you're looking for a more on-the-go friendly device, by far, I would recommend that you pick up the HP Omen Max 16. It's a lighter device. Not by much, but it's definitely noticeable in your hand. This, you go to pick it up and you're like, whoa, I did not expect that to be that heavy. So you can see weight and thickness coming up on the screen for both of the devices right now, and you're gonna have a much friendlier travel weight out of the HP Omen Max. Maybe not substantially, but it will be noticeable. Now, as we're looking at the exterior of the device, we have an aluminum top cover and aluminum bottom cover on the HP Omen Max. And on the interior, we have a nice plastic material for the keyboard deck. And for the keyboard deck, it's a bit between matte and glossy, especially compared to the Alienware. It's a nice, smooth, soft, matte appearance to that keyboard deck. Now, looking at the exterior of the Alienware, we have the aluminum bottom cover with the glass viewport into the cooling system. And we have the aluminum top cover and then this plastic back bar. I love the fluid design of the new Alienware Area 51. Very alien, futuristic feeling. Love how it feels when you carry it. All these nice rounded edges, very well designed. The bottom cover comes off very smoothly to look at the upgrade paths. So overall, I'm really liking the design on the Alienware. We have both bottom facing and upward facing speakers on the Alienware to create a great audio experience. Something that's not featured on the HP Omen Max. Just have those bottom facing speakers here on the side. Pretty large speaker grills, but still nonetheless going to get a better audio experience out of the Alienware. Here's a sample of the audio so you can hear for yourself what it sounds like. And while we're doing samples, if you notice, there is webcams along the top bezel of each of the devices, a manual cutoff switch that easily accesses there on the top of the HP Omen. But here's a sample so you can see each of the webcams for yourself. This is the webcam on the Alienware 16 Area 51 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. This is the webcam on the HP Omen Max 16 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. While we have the laptops open, let's take a quick look at the keyboard decks. If you're a big Numpad user, then obviously the HP Omen Max is going to be the way to go. Full Numpad available to you, not available on the Alienware. Now personally, I'm not a Numpad user and I love mechanical keyboards, so the Cherry MX keyboard on the Alienware would be my go-to. Nice, soft touch, quiet keyboard. One of my favorite visually appealing keyboards of 2024 and 2025 coming from the HP Omen Transcend and pulling into the HP Omen Max. They brought this beautiful backlit keyboard. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm a big fan of it. It's quiet, soft, and very enjoyable keyboard to type on. But I am a huge fan of mechanical keyboards, love the sound, the feel, and so overall the feel is gonna go for the Alienware for me personally. Now, the trackpads are, this is a pretty standard gaming size trackpad on a laptop. This is a small gaming size trackpad on a laptop. So neither of them are blowing me away with like a nice robust size. But if you're looking for a little bit bigger trackpad, you're not gonna bring a mouse with you as often. And I'll lean you towards the HP Omen Max as it's gonna give you more navigation ability comparatively. Now, quiet dampened click compared to a really snappy click on the Alienware. But the Alienware does have a cool backlit design that comes out of the trackpad, which you can turn on and off very easily. But overall, the vibes for the trackpad, I would say go to the Alienware. Here's a sample I'm using both the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear for yourself what they sound like. Now, in regards to the bezel around the screen, I like this soft rubberized material that is the entire screen bezel. Very nice. But they do have a very nice inset screen bezel on the HP Omen. So because of the glossy display, they've inset the bezel in, and it's one of those interior bezels. It's a really nice touch, very professional, very refined look. This follows more the classical gaming laptop style of hardened physical bezel versus built into the screen bezel. Now, let's go ahead and shut the laptops down before we keep moving any farther, and let's check out the port connectivity. So first and foremost, no Thunderbolt 5 on the HP Omen Max. If you were looking for Thunderbolt 5, this would be a clear turnoff. You do have Thunderbolt 5 available on the Alienware. But what's interesting is on the left side panel for the Alienware, all you're going to find is an SD card reader. It is full size, which is awesome, but a full-size SD card reader and a headphone jack. For the HP Omen Max, you're going to find a headphone jack and your 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Flip the laptops over, and you have no ports on the right side of the Alienware, and you have a USB Type-A on the HP Omen Max. Now, on the back panel, we do see quite a bit of connectivity coming in on the Alienware. 3 USB Type-A's, 2 Thunderbolt ports, and then you have an HDMI. You have at least 1 Thunderbolt 5 here on the Alienware, and then your power adapter. Power adapter, network port, HDMI, USB-A. Now, one thing I've pointed out in my other reviews of the Alienware is that you don't have a network port. Kind of an odd choice in my opinion, since that's a pretty big opportunity to get faster speeds while gaming. But I do have a Thunderbolt 5 dock. I plug in my network port to my Thunderbolt 5 dock and then into my Thunderbolt 5 port, and that should give me the speed and connectivity that I need. But if you don't have something like that, that direct port access that it's missing is a little bit of a killjoy, so just keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and flip these laptops on their backs, and let's talk about the upgrade path. Both have upgradable RAM. Fantastic. 2 upgradable RAM slots, really good upgrade path. The HP Omen Max comes with 2 M.2 slots. So you have 1 occupied, 1 unoccupied, you can upgrade that. The Alienware comes with 3, so much stronger upgrade path with those 3 M.2 slots. This is great because for me, I like to have separate drives for my boot drive, my storage, and then specifically routing my cache files to a separate drive helps me run smoother in Premiere Pro. And so those 3 drives help a lot with my workflow. And so I really appreciate that this is truly a on-the-go workstation, and that's just very handy for me since I've been trying to switch my entire setup over to a laptop and have been working through that. You've seen my videos on how that's going. I'm actually currently testing the Alienware as my go-to device. I tried the MSI. There were some connectivity issues more on the MSI software sides of things than on the Thunderbolt 5 side of things, because as soon as I plugged in the Alienware Area 51, the issues of connecting to my screens consistently through Thunderbolt completely went away, and it's so much smoother of an experience. So I'm gonna do a full video on that to come, but I just wanna make sure I'm kind of continuing this narrative and letting you guys know how I'm running my setup here in the studio. So let's look at the thermals on the HP Omen Max. We take a 4K clip, put it in Premiere Pro, export out at full quality 4K settings to run this thermal benchmark. On unleashed mode, 65 decibels of fan noise with an 89 to 95 degrees Celsius. Go a little bit more conservative on performance mode, and you get 42 to 44 decibels of fan noise at 62 to 64 degrees Celsius. So really nice, respectable thermals there on performance mode. Unleashed mode gets a little crazy. Now, looking at the Alienware, on full-on performance mode, you see 61 decibels of fan noise, so very close to the HP Omen Max, and then you're going to see 68 to 78 degrees Celsius on the CPU. Go to balance mode, 41 to 46 decibels, much similar to the performance mode on the HP Omen Max, and then you have 77 to 89 degrees Celsius. So you can see on the more balanced profile, you're going to get better thermals out of the HP Omen Max. However, later in the video, sneak peek, you're going to get a faster export time out of the Alienware. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of each of the devices, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. But as a note on these two devices here, with the HP Omen Max, we have the Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX with the RTX 5090 and 32 gigs of RAM. Now that laptop, spec'd out on HP's website, comes to $3,599 on sale. The retail price, they say, is $4,039. So that's the price point for that with the RTX 5090. Go ahead and get the RTX 5080 out of the Alienware with the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, 32 gigs of RAM, and a terabyte of SSD on sale for $2,000, or retail price $3,549, which is why I've been saying you're going to have a much stronger bang for buck out of the Alienware, and I'm going to show you the benchmarks overall why. So keep tight, we'll keep working through this video. One thing I want to point out with these two devices is the battery life. Battery life is not a strong suit of either of these devices. However, if you're looking for battery life, the HP Omen Max will give you far superior experience with about 6 hours of streaming video playback and productivity versus the 4 hours on the Alienware. Now we tear down from there, from that 4 hours on the Alienware to about 1 hour and 42 minutes for Photoshop and 57 minutes for video editing. Looking at the HP Omen Max, 3 hours for Photoshop, about 2 hours and 30 minutes for video editing. So less need of the charger, but still need the charger along with you. Definitely bring that charger along with you if you have the Alienware. Definitely more of a mobile workstation that needs your charger to keep running. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the performance benchmarks. This is what I'm really excited about because it's amazing to see how much performance opportunity we have out of the Alienware and at a few $100 savings. Looking at Geekbench single core and multi-core, you can actually see that the Alienware is outperforming. Going to single core and multi-core for Cinebench, you're going to see this same thing. The Alienware is actually outperforming. Getting into the Photoshop Creator benchmark, once again, a few hundred points better than the HP Omen Max. And you can see that the bottom of the chassis on the Alienware is actually a bit thinner, so there's less of a profile available to get air through the chassis, and somehow we're still getting far better performance inside of Photoshop. Both have 32 gigs of RAM, technically a stronger chipset and a stronger GPU in the HP Omen Max, but we're still seeing such a great contender out of the Alienware. Now moving on to 3D modeling benchmarks, that's where things do take a turn, but not aggressively. Only 23 points more in Autodesk 3ds Max for 3D modeling out of the HP Omen Max. Looking at Autodesk Maya, you're gonna have a bit more at about 40 points more, but again, is that worth a few $100 more to get that extra boost? I don't think so personally. I think you're gonna have a great opportunity to get a good savings and still have great performance. PTC Creo, they are straight up neck and neck. Absolutely amazing in PTC Creo to see that closeness in the battle. And then SolidWorks, 10-point spread. That will be very unnoticeable. And so it's incredible to see the RTX 5080 take on this RTX 5090 and have such good performance. Now, moving on to the 4K export. This is what I was talking about earlier, and this is where we ran our thermal benchmark earlier. For the 4K export, 1 minute and 42 seconds for the Alienware 16 versus 1 minute and 48 seconds for the HP Omen Max. So nothing earth-shattering, but it was cool to see that the Alienware did get a slight advantage on the export time for 4K. Now looking at 6K, we can see here 10 minutes and 6 seconds from the Alienware, 12 minutes from the HP Omen Max. So a 2-minute difference, and everything that you're seeing for the export time is 9-minute clips. So 9-minute 6K clip, 9-minute 4K clip, and then now we'll pull up the various export times for the Alienware. These are all 9-minute clips, 1080p, 4K, and then you export out, or I export out, not you, I export out for the full resolutions for each of them. So you can see the Alienware, and then you'll see the HP Omen Max for the different export times that you have available to you. Now, the playback. This is something that was interesting to me. Looking at playback for the HP Omen Max, we saw 274 drop frames in B-RAW. Looking at playback for the Alienware, we saw 57 drop frames. This Alienware is feisty. For an RTX 5080, it is feisty. And so we're seeing better performance for playback and 8K footage out of the Alienware as well. So punch for punch, you're gonna save money, you're gonna get a matte display, you're gonna get a Cherry MX keyboard, not gonna get as good a battery life, and you're gonna get Thunderbolt 5. Am I hyping it too much? Are you seeing this as a great option? Comment below and let me know. And if you're curious about the exact pricing, right now as you're watching this video or you want to make a purchase, please use those links. Always is helpful, huge help to the channel, keep it alive, and helpful content coming your way. When you make a purchase of those links, I greatly appreciate it. I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. Click or tap the screen for more videos to help you with your buying decision. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.